Hey everybody, welcome to the last day of our daily creative challenge. I'm Kathleen. We're going to be wrapping up this challenge with another project based on Photoshop actions. So we touched on this a little bit, I think it was 2 days ago, when we talked about liquefying textures to make marble, and we recorded our own Photoshop actions for that. So we are going to dive a little bit deeper into actions, where to get them, how to edit them once we have applied them, etc., etc. So it's going to be fun. I like to do something a little bit maybe lighthearted on the last day of the challenge, just to celebrate that you made it through 2 weeks. Hopefully your Photoshop skills are nice and sharp, you're feeling confident in them, and you have a brand new community with you. I love this community. I'm super glad to be here with you all. In the past, yes, this is a recording. Did you know that? Did I spook you? I'm recording this yesterday when you watch this. So hello from the past. We are not streaming today, but we will be starting a new daily creative challenge on Monday with a new host. It's going to be a good time. So stick around for that. Alrighty. So if you want to jump over to the landing page with me, let me connect and pop on over. Okay. I'm gonna admit, this is weird to do without all my friends in chat. I feel like I'm just talking to myself. I guess I kind of literally am. But to all of you in the future, this is the landing page. And if you would like to learn more about the Daily Creative Challenge, you can easily do so by coming here. It's behance.net/challenge/Photoshop. And this is where you can get all of your starter files for the challenges and find out what they are every morning. So it is a really good resource. Now, if I scroll down, you're not going to see the starter file yet for today because it doesn't exist when I'm recording it, but it will be there when you watch this, and you will find some Photoshop actions in there. So before you go downloading anything, I would recommend that you watch the stream and then kind of decide which Photoshop action you might want to try out, because they're kind of large files, I'm going to admit, and I don't want to bog down your computers if you don't want to download all of them. So I'll give you a sneak peek of all the ones that I have for you, and then you can choose from there. You could download them all. I mean, it's up to you. Alrighty. So before we do that, let's talk about Discord super quickly. Discord is our online community that is open 24/7, even when the live stream isn't going. It's a giant chat room. You can post your work to get feedback. It's very, very helpful in that regard. So let me open up Discord and I'll give you a little peek. Check it out. This is what it looks like. It's totally free. And we have different Discords for XD, Illustrator, and Photoshop. Those are the official Adobe ones, and you can come in here, post your work, get feedback. I definitely recommend, if you're getting feedback, that you give some feedback as well. We have some awesome people posting in here. Christine is still working on the marble challenge, so it's good to see that update there. And yeah, I'll post my work. Well, will I post my work at the end of this? I don't want to give anyone a sneak peek at what today's challenge is, do I? So maybe I won't do that. But join us on Discord. I will be there. You will be there. And it'll be a great time. Okay, and then I'm also going to wrap up this challenge by finishing up my Behance project. So if I go to my profile, and I'm going to jump into my project. I stopped uploading after the second day, I believe, because I wanted to get all of the projects done, and then I could upload them all en masse at the end. So I'll show you how I did that after we talk about Photoshop actions. All right. So I'm going to jump into Photoshop. Actually, let me bump away from my screen real quick. I want to make sure I don't give away what I'm going to be doing. Yes, that would have been bad. Okay, cool. We are back. So we are going to be playing with some effect actions, and these are all free actions that you can get on adobe.com. So they are from a really awesome designer. His name is Nuan, and he provided them to give away for free to Adobe. Really nice. So if you want to go check out Nuan's work, it is behance.net/Nuan Panditha, and there are tons of really cool actions on here. So we're first going to be talking about kind of this one. It's like a toonify, a superhero-ify myself challenge. And it's really easy, just a couple clicks of a button. So first and foremost, we need the image that we're gonna toonify. I have a beautiful Australian Shepherd here because I have a beautiful Australian Shepherd in my home. He is my favorite best boy. And so I wanted to pay him tribute. This is not him. I couldn't get a nice enough picture in such short notice. He is quite the wiggly boy, but this will work. If you are going to be using these actions, I would recommend that you have a pretty high resolution image. I provided the practice file for this, but it's not the highest resolution, to be honest. So I would recommend take a picture of yourself, of your pet, with your nice phone camera, and that should be good enough. Probably around like 2,000 to 3,000 pixels on its longest side would be great. All right, so now we need to get our actions. So I've provided those for you in the starter files. And when you download it, let's see, I'm going to do the tune one again. So say you download the tune action, I am going to see 3 files like this. We've got the action, we've got the guide, and we've got patterns. So the guide is really helpful. It has some information from Nuwan himself about how to set this up. I'll just walk you through it in the video. But if you ever get lost, you can come back and look at the guide. And I also provided in the starter files more information here. So links to all of those websites that have the step-by-step tutorials for the actions if you get lost or if it's not working, link to Nuwan's portfolio, and a link to more free resources. So enjoy those. But anywho, back to our actions, you'll notice that we have the actual action file and patterns. First thing we need to do is add these into Photoshop. We need to load them into Photoshop so that we can activate them. There's a couple different ways to do it. One is to come to the actual actions panel in Photoshop. It's this little play button that you might see. If you don't see it, you can go to Window and Actions to open it. And from here, you can click the hamburger icon in the top right and then import or load actions. And then you can navigate to your action. Another even easier way to do it is to just grab the file, ta-da, and drag it onto Photoshop. And boom, there you go, it just got added. Now I have it in there twice, but it was worth it for you guys. Okay, we also need to do that for the patterns. We need to do it for the patterns, the action, and any other kind of library assets that you download. So some of these have like brushes as well, so you'll need to load those the same way. So we'll bring the patterns in. Okay, so it's very important with this starter image that it stays a background layer. So I could like double click this and accidentally take away the background setting for it. Just move this around real quick. So we need to make sure that this stays a background layer because when we play the action, it's going to be looking for that background layer. So you can really easily transform it back into a background layer doing Command Z. Okay, and then the last thing we're going to do is make a new layer and title it Focus. F-U-C-U-S, all lowercase, because the action is going to look for that as well. So we have the background and we have focus. Okay, now in this focus layer, we're basically going to tell the action where we want the action to focus. It makes sense. So I'm going to go back to my background layer and let's select our doggo. I'm going to use the object selection tool. It might be hiding under your magic wand or your quick selection tool, so you can tap W to activate that. And if you don't see it, do Shift W to cycle through them until you get to the object selection tool. All right, I'm just gonna drag a marquee around this pup, and it does a pretty good job. Wow, I'm pretty impressed. Now, the last thing we might want to do if you don't want your action to be super constrained is we're going to expand our selection just a little bit so we have a nice white outline. You'll see what I mean when we actually apply it. So let's go to Select, Modify, Expand. So we're going to expand our selection that we have around him, or her, I'm not sure. And we'll do Expand by 10 pixels. That's nice. Now we have a little bit of breathing room. See right here at the top. We could even add a little bit more. Let's do that. Modify, expand. Let's do 20. Perfect. We have almost like a little cutout, a little die cut around the dog. All right, back in focus. All we need to do is fill this area in with any color. Doesn't matter. I'm just going to use my paint bucket tool, tap G, I'll just fill it with black, and deselect it. All right. So now that we have our focus layer and our background layer, we can play our action. So I've got my Toon Artist action right here, and I'm gonna press play. Except I'm not actually gonna press play because this will take maybe 2, maybe 3 minutes for Photoshop to process through. Because basically what an action is a bunch of steps that are recorded within Photoshop, and then you press play and they play out. So there's a ton of steps in this action and it takes a while. So I'm not actually gonna do it, but when you do, be patient. If you see any windows pop up, just click OK, no problem. But I will show you where we land. Ta-da! Can you believe that? You literally press a button, wait a couple minutes, and you get this. That's amazing. Thank you, Nuwan. These actions are awesome. I would be really, really interested to hear or see what kind of actions you all could make. You can maybe make a nice business out of that, making actions, selling them. Why not? Alrighty. So I can come over here to our layers, and you'll see that this action made a ton of layers. They're really well organized, but they are a little bit overwhelming. So let's just walk through them and kind of toggle some to see what they do. So up here at the top, we see a smart object with some text. We could jump into this smart object by double clicking and then replace it with whatever we want. So say I delete this and I say doggo. Whoops. Maybe make it a little bit bigger. Save it and jump over here. There you go. Now it says doggo, but I don't even want any text, I don't think. So I'm just gonna delete this. You don't have to delete it. You could just turn it off, but I know I'm not gonna want it, so I'll delete it. Now in this post effects folder, there's lots of different tweaks we can just change really quickly as kind of post-production. So we can like turn off and on the border if we want to. We can change the hue and saturation. So double click on this icon to bring up your properties panel. You can change, maybe make kind of a psychedelic rocker pup. It's kind of fun. I like that. We could change the levels if we want to, or turn off the grain if we want to. And now we can jump even further into like the particles and the little tiny effects that we have around here. I like the particles, but maybe we want to take off this outer scribbly line. Maybe turn on a different one that's black. Maybe turn them both on. Now we have a black and white one. There's all kinds of cool ways that you can really customize this for yourself, which is awesome. And if we dive even deeper, we can turn on and off some highlights, maybe make our illustration look a little more flat. So you could literally play around in here for probably hours. There's a lot of options. This is nice, it takes away all of the harsh lines so it feels a little more painted. But I like this. Okay, so once we're done and once we're happy, we can save it. So you can save as, choose where you want it and what your format is. I already have it saved, so I'm not going to worry about that now. But let me show you examples of all of the other ones. So before you go downloading anything, you can maybe decide which ones you want. I have them all saved here. So this one is the painterly action. And note that, you remember how when I did the Toon Artist action, I had to do that focus layer? Not all of these actions have the exact same setup, because some of them you have to make a focus layer, some of them you don't have to make any layer. So I really recommend you check out those information files that come with the actions so you know exactly what you need to do before you just press the button. If you just press the button, it's not going to hurt anything, but it just might not work. I really like the scribble one. The scribble one's super cool. But I think the Toon and the watercolor are my favorite. Isn't that beautiful? It truly looks watercolored. It's pretty amazing. One thing I do love about these actions is that there are always these reveal details files or layers. So they come with a mask already filled in, and if I were to zoom in here with a brush and use white to reveal, I could bring back some of those original details from the photograph. So you can pick and choose where you apply this. Maybe some of it is on the fur. Maybe we take some of it away by going back to black. So it's cool, you can really customize this however you want to. So I have a bunch of actions. I have 4 to be exact, exported, and we will upload them onto Discord. And by Discord, I mean Behance, because we're not going to give you guys a sneak peek a day early. Awesome. Again, if you want to check out Nuwan's work, it's Nuwan Panditha on Behance, and he has tons of actions here that you can try out. This one's cool. I dig that 8-bit retro Photoshop action. Nicely done. All right, let's go to my profile. Let's edit my project. So to edit your project, it's super duper easy. All you're gonna do is come to your project, hover over the cog. You have to be logged in to be able to do this. Hover over here, click edit. And we are now in the project editor. Now if I scroll down, you're gonna see that before this stream, I added all of my images. So we have the postcard sets that we worked on the first half of this challenge. We did the blend modes with the type. We did the gradient mapping and the blend modes here. We did the collage here. I really like this one. I like how this text turned out as well. It's very simple. Then we have the marbling and the double exposure. I think the double exposure was my favorite one. I just love how these ferns turned out with her ponytail. So cool. And then here at the bottom, we have all of the actions. Very nice. So you can see here, when I did this originally, this quality is really bad, but I made a selection by hand instead of doing the select object. So that's why there's this wide kind of white halo around him. It's not bad looking, but that's why. That's the difference. Okay, so one of my favorite ways to organize my projects is with photo grids, because you'll notice if you just upload an image onto Behance, it's gonna upload it at the size it actually is. And sometimes it's hard to tell what kind of sizes are gonna work in a Behance project, if it's gonna be too wide or too tall, and someone's gonna have to like scroll 3 times to get past your huge image. So that's why I like these photo grids, because they automatically resize things to fit together. So for example, I will show you what I mean. Say I want to add one of these dogs. So I will choose one and upload it. And here it is. It's huge. It's not bad. Like, you want to show off the detail in your work, but 1, it's taking forever to load. And 2, whoever views this in my profile is going to have to scroll 3 times to get past it. And since it's part of a series, maybe I want to show them all in a row. So let's delete this and let's do a photo grid instead. So there's a couple different ways to insert media. You can just hover over one of these modules and click on the photo grid, or you can come over here and click photo grid here. So we will upload our files, and I'm gonna choose all 4. So I will select one and I'm gonna hold Command. I believe it's holding Control if you're on a PC. And I will choose this and this and this. So I'm holding Command and clicking, and that's how I can select multiples. And now it's going to create my grid for me. And there we go. We have our nice images already resized to fit. We could also do it where we create 2 photo grids. So let's edit this. Say we wanted the pictures to be a little bit larger. Let's do 2 by 2 instead. So we have 1 photo grid. Whoops. 1 photo grid. I don't know where that guy came from. With 2, we'll click done. And then we'll just add another photo grid beneath it, upload our files. And I believe it was this one and this one that we still need. We'll let that upload. And this is kind of like a Warhol-esque kind of pop art. Very nice. So I thought these actions were a great way to kind of round out this challenge, because they're super easy, thanks to Nuwan who created them for us. You're not actually designing the action, but you are learning a little bit about how actions work and how you can customize them and maybe make your own really complicated ones in the future. So I highly encourage you to play with them, maybe make some. Try and think of things that you do often in Photoshop that take a lot of time and that you do them over and over again. Make an action out of it, you know? Saves a lot of time, and other people might think it's very helpful as well. We did that with this marble workflow. Cool, so we have our work here. Make sure in your settings that you have your discoverability set to PS Daily Challenge as the hashtag or the project tag, because that's how you will be noticed by the Behance gods to be featured in the Daily Creative Challenge Best of Gallery. And with that, I think that's it. So we have our project. It is nice and spiffy. Don't forget to post your work in Discord so I can see it maybe tomorrow or over the weekend. I really want to see your work before you post it. Give you some good thumbs up. And I'm going to leave you there. I know this stream was a little bit shorter than usual, but these are strange circumstances, so I think that is okay. Remember, we're going to have a new challenge starting on Monday with a different host. There's going to be a new one for Illustrator and XD as well, so there's always new stuff going on. Stick around, and I will see you when I see you. Thanks, everybody. Goodbye.